Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing a video on my thoughts of the new Spider-Man trailer, Spider-Man Homecoming. I honestly think it looks very, very good and promising, and I hope they do it right. I mean, considering Marvel Studios has the rights to Spider-Man now, I think there shouldn't really be a problem. I mean, it's weird, it's like Sony and Marvel Studios, so kind of thing, which was interesting, or they're both credited right at the beginning, so that's really interesting if you're interested in other sort of legal stuff at the, and that end and stuff. Yeah, I can't stop moving my hands frantically. Also, if you're wondering why I've got my coat on, it's because I've just been at the comic book shop, so deal with it. Hashtag deal with it. Also, I've been told, or, well, I've not been told, but I have a feeling that a lot of other people, or, well, not a lot of people, but some of my viewers, or people who watch these videos might like some of the other stuff that I do, you know, what I thought of the new, Sherlock trailer, maybe what I thought, or the one that I did a while back, you know, some variation on the channel there beyond just Doctor Who, and I think this is definitely a step in the right direction, maybe doing, you know, sort of topic videos on what I thought of trailers. I've recently just watched the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer twice to prepare for this video. It's very strange. I just sort of woke up this morning and was like, you know what, maybe I should do a video on the Spider-Man trailer. And that I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know. I do like Spider-Man. I'll be honest, and I think, you know, sort of beyond Batman and Superman, I think Spidey is probably up there for biggest sort of recognizable hero. Even if you know nothing about the comic books or anything about superheroes, or like, you know, Batman or Superman, or, you know, you know, like the superhero-y nerdy stuff, even if you were completely removed from nerd culture, I would like to think you would know Spider-Man, you know, because of the animated TV show, or because of the, you know, the amount of merchandise that is aimed at kids that is Spider-Man related is unfreaking believable, you know. So he's a big iconic character in sort of just generally in pop culture. I'd go so far to say beyond superhero, you know, sort of comic books and fandom, really. But yeah, I think for the costume, I think I agree with my friends at college. We were all discussing it at this one time at either break or lunch, but I think it was break, actually. But we were all discussing about the size of the spider on his chest, and I have to agree with them. After watching the trailer a few times over, you know, the Spider-Man logo is a bit too small for my liking, personally. It's finding that balance between the size, though, because there's some iterations of the costume where the Spider-Man logo on his chest is way too big, sometimes it's way too small. I mean, it is as freaking cool as all that you can just press it and then the suit sort of deactivates and comes off of him. I think that's pretty handy, you know, to quickly, I guess that'll make, you know, those sort of scenes we always see in the Sam Raimi, I think it was, films, where Peter's trying to get, you know, changed into his normal kit from the Spidey costume to that, to his normal stuff, clothes and that, you know, slash costume, you know, that transition will be a lot smoother and a lot quicker and that. But, you know, I like the inclusion of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. I hope that Tony Stark isn't in the film too much, because I think if he is, then it could water down the film, and it could feel more like an Iron Man film rather than a Spider-Man film. I think, though, Marvel Studios have genuinely, maybe this might not be true, but from a fan's perspective, I feel like they've put him in it because to sort of break the ice, and maybe introduce Spider-Man to a whole new audience of people who have never watched the Sam Raimi films, who have never watched any of the Amazing Spider-Man films. I mean, I've watched, unfortunately, all of those films. I say unfortunately because Spider-Man 3, that was awful, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 was also awful, but the other ones, you know, 1, 2 of Sam Raimi's stuff and Amazing Spider-Man 1 aren't all too bad, you know. They're all decent, they're all good-ish. There's, you know, pros and cons to all of them for different reasons. But I think as well, this one feels like a lot more like the Avengers, but on a way smaller scale. And what I mean by that is just the humour, you know, the bit where, like, I'm mainly referring to the only humorous kind of funny bit in the trailer, or the main funny bit that I found that was kind of hilarious to me was the bit when he's like, "You're not the Avengers." Hulk kind of gives it away, and then those guys are like about to hit him, and he's like, poof, 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 you know, just like dodging them like super like quickly and that. I'm a bit on the fence. Well, actually, I'm not on the fence. Sorry, I'm completely. I don't really like the idea of his web shooters being actual web shooters. Like, because a bad guy could easily grab them and just destroy them, and then he'd eventually run out of them, right? That's what I'd do if I was a bad guy. Whereas if it's organic and it's like part of him, and he has unlimited web slinging ability, then I think that's cooler, and it also means that it's less likely or less easy for a bad guy to take that away from him. But I mean, beyond that, he's still got Spidey sense, and he's still got the agility and sort of better combat skills, and he's a bit more buff and he's a bit more stronger physically, I think, after he gets bit by that spider. And for the love of God, I hope they do not do the origin thing again, Beyond, I think Batman and Superman and those two, and Spidey, easily the origin stories we should all know, hopefully, by now. Yes, Superman came from, Krypton and smashed his way through Earth's orbit in a space pod in America, in a farm and that, Bruce Wayne saw his parents get killed, Spider-Man, Peter Parker got bit by a radioactive spider. We all know the origin. Hopefully they won't do that again. I like the bit as well where the friend sort of smashes that Death Star. That was kind of hilarious. And the bit that he's like, "Oh my God, you're Spider-Man," and that, and he's like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." And that was really funny. I just think there's quite a bit of humour, but it's balancing that out with the intensity and the drama. I mean, that bit though where he's like pulled out, and there's those two bits like of the ship and that, and he's like literally like and that, and it's like, holy crap, that looks pretty intense, I think again, I love that iconic scene, or it looks like a really iconic scene anyway. Hopefully it will be, when we look back on this film. But the bit where like he's web slinging and then Tony Stark's Iron Man's flying as well, and they're both flying in a sort of zooming past at New York type shot, and it just looks amazing. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, I think the thing is, we've seen it in the comic books, we've seen it in the animated TV shows, but to finally get a definitive sort of Spidey / Peter Parker who wants to join the Avengers, but the Avengers are kind of like, haha, that's a nice little kid, come on, okay, haha, that's funny, now there's a cat in that tree, now go do that, whilst me, Thor, Captain America and Black Widow are trying to kill all these aliens. You go save that cat from a tree. That here's a good kid. Here's a nickel for you. Here's a hard candy for you. Yeah. Bye bye now. But and he's finding his way. He's finding his feet. And I think this could easily be, ideally, maybe a trilogy if this one's successful. I hope it is successful. I hope they don't go through the origin story. I hope they get the bad guy right. The Falcon or the bird person type character. I don't really know his name. Sorry about that. Comment below if you do know his name. Sorry for butchering the villain's name. But I don't know who they've got to play him. I don't know enough about his character. He is a bit of a heavy hitter in the Spider-Man universe, but I wouldn't have picked him personally. If I was behind the scenes, I'd have picked a more well-known one, but then again, by Amazing Spider-Man 2, that was kind of the problem. You've already done Green Goblin, you've already done the Lizard-type character in the previous Amazing Spider-Man, you've already done Venom, Sandman, all these other characters, Rhino, you've done all these characters before. Who's left? And beyond, Electrode as well, you've only got really this Falcon-like bird-type character and that. Don't know who they've got to play him, and I don't know enough, again, as I say, about his character to know if they'll do him justice. I hope they do. Again, I'd have picked an easier, maybe, character to / villain to understand and get to know. Maybe Rhino and Sandman, or just maybe Sandman, or maybe even Venom, or... But then again, you could argue, well, we've already seen those characters before, what would be the point in watching this new movie if there's only, the new version of Spider-Man and Iron Man and a few new other characters, but we've already seen the villain. You know, so I don't know. I mean, if they are going to make this a trilogy going forward, or a franchise going forward, / make more movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Spider-Man, standalone ones, I don't know who else they could do who we haven't already seen, but that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I know nothing enough about Spider-Man, and yeah, maybe I'm talking out my arse. But yeah, I thought it was an amazing trailer and cannot wait to one day hopefully maybe see it on the big screen or DVD or Netflix or wherever I see it. But yeah, thanks for watching, comment, rate and subscribe, and please do comment below what you thought of the trailer too. Goodbye.